He wrote the first piece of American music to sell over 1 million copies. He was posthumously awarded the Pulitzer Prize 59 years after his death for an opera almost no one heard while he was alive. Scott Joplin spent his final years broke, sick, and largely forgotten, convinced that his masterpiece would never be staged. He was right. It wasn't. Not in his lifetime. So how does a man die, believing he failed, and end up remembered as the king of ragtime? Today we're looking at Scott Joplin's life through human design. And yes, before you ask, this is built on the most commonly cited birth data for Joplin, and his exact birth hour was never recorded. So consider this an illustrative read on the kind of energy historians describe in his actual biography, not a verified chart. Scott Joplin's design type, manifesting generator. His inner authority, sacral. His strategy, respond. If you're new to human design, here's the fast version. A manifesting generator is built to move fast, multi-track, often skipping steps other types think are mandatory. They're not meant to plan everything out in advance. They're meant to respond to what's in front of them, and once their gut says yes, they go sometimes starting 2 or 3 things before the first one's finished. Sacral authority means the decision-making center isn't the mind at all. It's a gut response, a yes or a no that shows up in the body before the brain finishes its sentence. Picture that blank chart filling in now. Type, authority, strategy, locking into place. This is the engine we're about to watch run through a man's entire life. Joplin was born in 1868 in Texas, the second of 6 children, to a father who'd been enslaved and a mother who was born free. Money was tight. His father played violin. His mother sang and played banjo. And by the time Joplin was 7, he was sneaking time at a piano in the home where his mother worked as a domestic cleaner, teaching himself, key by key, before anyone formally taught him a thing. That's manifesting generator energy in its rawest form. Nobody assigned him the piano. Nobody mapped out a 10-year plan for him to become a composer. He just responded to the sound, to the instrument that happened to be there, to whatever lit him up in the moment. A German immigrant music teacher named Julius Weiss noticed the spark and gave him lessons, exposing him to European classical and opera traditions most children in Texas in the 1870s would never touch. Joplin absorbed it the way manifesting generators absorb things fast, and combined immediately with whatever else he already knew. Here's where the not-self theme matters. For a sacral being, the not-self theme is frustration. What happens when you keep doing what you think you should do instead of what your gut actually responds to. And we see hints of frustration almost immediately. Joplin wanted to be taken seriously as a classical composer. He disliked the rowdy honky-tonk saloon scene, where most working African-American pianists of his era made their living. He was, by one account, not even particularly good at playing for that crowd. He was reportedly outclassed in saloon settings, more suited to something else entirely. That's an early sign of a sacral being squeezed into the wrong container. A manifesting generator's open or undefined centers also shape how the world experiences them. Without getting too deep into the technical weeds, open centers mean amplified sensitivity to other people's energy in that area. It's a real possibility that some of Joplin's restlessness, his constant travel from Texas to Chicago to Syracuse to Sedalia, wasn't aimlessness. It may have been a sacral being responding, gig by gig, city by city, to wherever the next yes showed up. By his mid-20s, right around a first Saturn return, that classic astrological rite of passage window, where life asks you to either commit to your true path or keep drifting, Joplin landed in Sedalia, Missouri in 1894. This is where manifesting generator energy finally found real traction. He enrolled at the George R. Smith College to formalize the music theory he'd been improvising his whole life. He taught piano, he played in respected ensembles, and in 1899, at 30 years old, he published Maple Leaf Rag. It didn't just succeed, it became the genre-defining hit. Within a decade, 500,000 copies sold. For a sacral manifesting generator, This is the signature pattern. Not a single calculated masterstroke, but years of fast, responsive movement, joining a band here, taking a student there, publishing a small piece in Texas that quietly built into an explosion success. But success exposed the next layer of his design. Joplin didn't want to be the king of ragtime. He wanted to be a serious composer of operas and ballets, the way his teacher Weiss had introduced him to that world as a boy. This is where sacral authority and ego desire can pull in different directions. His gut had built him a ragtime empire. His mind wanted opera. He pushed forward anyway, composing his first opera, A Guest of Honor, in 1903. It flopped, the tour fell apart, and the work was eventually lost entirely. Around his Uranus opposition, the late 30s marker astrologers associate with major identity upheaval. Joplin's life destabilized hard. His first marriage ended. His second wife died of pneumonia just 10 weeks after their wedding. He lost an infant child. For an undefined or open emotional center, which many manifesting generators carry, this kind of repeated loss doesn't just hurt, it can flood the system, because there's no fixed internal emotional wave to regulate it. Only whatever's being absorbed from the environment. By every account, this period nearly broke him. And yet, true to type, he didn't stop moving. He remarried. He relocated to New York City. He kept responding, kept working, kept building, even as the responses around him grew harder to read clearly. His real masterwork was Treemonisha, a full 3-act opera he wrote, scored, and even choreographed himself, about a young Black woman who leads her community out of ignorance through education. He self-funded its publication in 1911, sinking what little money he had left into it. He believed, with everything he had, that this was the work he was built for. But here's where the chart gets tragic. A defined sacral can tell you yes or no in the moment, but it cannot, by itself, force the world to respond back. Joplin staged only one underwhelming semi-public performance of Treemonisha in his lifetime. No backers came, no full production followed. By his late 40s, approaching what would have been his Chiron return, that marker some say reveals our deepest wound and our deepest gift. In the same breath, Joplin was suffering the late effects of an illness. His coordination failed. His piano playing, once his entire identity, became unreliable. He grew obsessed with Treemonisha's failure, experienced what biographers describe as a serious mental health crisis, and by 1916 was institutionalized. He died in April 1917 in a state hospital, having watched his life's defining work go unrecognized. Here's the turn. Everything Joplin built, by following his gut, every saloon gig he walked away from, every rag he responded to writing, every risk he took self-publishing an opera nobody wanted to stage, outlived him completely. In the 1970s, a pianist named Joshua Rifkin recorded an album of Joplin's rags that sold over 1 million copies. The Entertainer scored an Academy Award-winning film. Treemonisha was finally staged in 1972, 55 years after his death, in Atlanta. In 1976, Joplin received the Pulitzer Prize. A manifesting generator who lives in alignment with their sacral authority doesn't always get to see the payoff. Their work is to respond, to move, to build. The timing of recognition is not always theirs to control. Joplin's life is almost a textbook illustration of that gap. Total command over the yes, almost no control over the reception. The frustration he likely felt for most of his life, overlooked, underpaid, dismissed as a mere entertainer, rather than the serious composer he knew himself to be, gave way after his death to exactly the legacy his gut had been building toward the whole time. Scott Joplin never heard the words human design. He couldn't have. The framework didn't exist yet. But his life, the restless movement, the gut-first decisions, the years of frustration followed by an explosive, decades-delayed satisfaction traces almost exactly the shape this system describes for a sacral being who kept responding, even when nothing responded back. So here's the question for you. Where in your own life are you waiting for permission, a plan, a guarantee, when what your design is actually asking for is just a response? What would you build if you trusted your own yes, the way Joplin trusted his, even without proof it would ever be seen? If this kind of pattern recognition across a historic life surprised you, imagine what it reveals about your own. Take our free clarity quiz and find out what your own energetic blueprint has been quietly building all along. So here's the question for you. Where in your own life are you waiting for permission, a plan, a guarantee, when what your design is actually asking for is just a response? Take our free clarity quiz and find out what your own energetic blueprint has been quietly building all along.